Very good evening. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, Prime Minister Fendel Stewart will, within a few days, sign and ratify on behalf of government the Paris Agreement, which was recently adopted at the 21st session of the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Mr. Stewart left the island today to attend the high-level thematic debate on achieving the Sustainable Development Goals on Thursday, April 21st, and the high-level signature ceremony for the Paris Agreement on Friday at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Barbados has played a leading role over the years in helping to craft the landmark and legally binding outcome document of the COP21. Prime Minister Stewart, who was also chairman of CARICOM, joined other world leaders late last year in Paris to negotiate the much-anticipated agreement. Government is pressing ahead with its roadworks and general improvements to Warrens and surrounding areas in St. Michael. This from Transport and Works Minister Michael Lashley. He was speaking on a resolution in Parliament for government to acquire several parcels of land to improve the road infrastructure under the Warrens Traffic Safety Improvement Project. The minister says the program is well underway and the land acquisition process has already started.
In fact, my understanding is that the Ministry of Housing and Land has gone as far as Section 5 notice under the Land Acquisition Act. Speaker, sir, the footpath on Jackson to Warrens Industrial Park that is being finished. The roundabout at Warrens Industrial Estate to the east that has been finished. We have to now look at the widening of Highway 2 that is at Eden Lodge. We have to look at that. It has not started.
In her contribution, opposition leader Mia Motley was critical of the length of time it is taking for roads in the Friendship Terrace area to be fixed. Pointing to government's intention to carry out road repairs from Canewood Road to Lower Estate, which is not a residential area, she says a better job needs to be done of prioritizing work.
How does a government prioritize a road to be done by those who are making the road worse anyhow? Through the multiple heavy-duty trucks traversing it every day. Not a single human being living on that road. And the people in the development settled by the government in the early 70s remain victims today in getting a road done that 300 houses need to get in and out.
Minister of Commerce Donville Ennis wants to see a completion of the Warrens Road project. While he says he is mindful of the financial challenges, Mr. Ennis notes the area has grown over the years. Portions of the neighbouring communities fall within the constituency of St. James South, represented by Mr. Ennis. The minister also touched on the issue of vending on the highway, saying efforts to address it have nothing to do with class. He's telling Barbadians to stop making excuses for the level of indiscipline. He also chastised some coconut vendors who leave empty husks and shells along the highway.
I fail to see how every couple of months or weeks individual drivers can be brought before the court and found driving recklessly on our roads, causing accidents or whatever, and still be allowed to maintain their licenses. They're not seemingly not suspended, or the owners are not dealt with. I don't know what the problem is, Mr. Speaker, really and truly. I've spoken to them, met with them. I've totally supported the PSV owners and operators in their quest to operate more business-like.
MP for St. James Central, Kerry Simmons, intends to present to the Minister of Transport and Works a petition signed by residents of Bagatelle. He says they are frustrated with the increased flow of traffic in the residential area.
Saturday, I finished that petition. The minister will have it served on him this week, where we have now the representation of the entire cross-section of that community, putting fists to paper, indicating their dissatisfaction and displeasure, not only with the new influx of traffic across that part of the district, sir, but beyond that, sir, beyond that, the damage that it is doing to the highway infrastructure in the district.
Meantime, Minister of Commerce and MP for St. James South, Donville Ennis, sympathizes with the residents as he too expressed concern about the use of Bagatelle as a shortcut rather than using the highway. He wants motorists to take greater responsibility.
We have become a society where everybody is in a hurry to get from point A to point B. It's about 140,000 vehicles on the road, I believe, and everybody is in a hurry to get everywhere. The road infrastructure can't get much wider and longer than we currently have, and therefore each one of us must exhibit a higher level of patience. But the individuals who will want to get to Queen's College, for example, or even to UW or UE Hill, who will cut through the Bagatelle Terrace Road in a hurry, driving recklessly, totally seemingly oblivious to the fact that it is a residential area.
The motion of no confidence against the government to be brought by Leader of the Opposition, Mia Mottley, was not tabled in Parliament today. CBC understands that House Speaker Michael Carrington was concerned about some of the wording of the proposed motion. It's understood he sent it back to the opposition and asked them to consider making adjustments. It seems that once these concerns are addressed, the motion will be tabled and a date set for the debate. In other news now, the PSV sector is pushing to have more bus stops erected around Bridgetown. The move, they say, it will make it easier for the traveling public. The idea is one of several proposals highlighted during a recent meeting with Minister of Transport Michael Lashley. Members were updated on the developments following a joint meeting between the Alliance of Owners of Public Transport and the Association of Public Transport Operators. Spokesperson for the Alliance, Ingrid King, says they are pushing for a return to the Baxter's Road route when leaving the city and a change to the disembarking-only bus stop on Tudor Street. She says these present some hardships for the operators and commuters.
Of course, the commuters are a big part of what we're there all about. So what happens is that passengers that would normally have to plod down to Princess Alice and so on, we're finding that they, in addition to people coming from James Street, Roebuck Street, because of the situation with the privately owned PSVs, they are made to walk that additional distance rather than being able to take the option that allows them to go to Baxter's Road to take a transport board bus, and only a very few privately owned PSVs. So our position is that is an inequitable and untenable situation.
Ms. King is assuring concerns about traffic in the city have been factored in their proposals.
That the authorities will be pleasantly surprised to see that we've looked at it in that way. It's not for us just simply getting more money and thus, more passengers. We have looked at how it can work. So that's the proposal we want to take to them, our honest idea of how it can work for the benefit of everybody.
Well, Barbados does not have a corrupt government. The country reports on human rights practices for 2015, released by the U.S. State Department recently, states there were no reports of government corruption during the last year. The most serious human rights problems identified were unprofessional conduct by police, violence against women, and discrimination against lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals. Other human rights problems included child abuse and discrimination against persons with disabilities. The report highlighted government efforts to punish officials who committed abuses, but says impunity for security force members did not appear to be a problem. It states there was one report that the government or its agents allegedly committed an arbitrary or unlawful killing. The report adds that while government websites provided access to information, responses were often slow to requests for specific information by citizens, the media, or other interested parties. Though Barbados boasts of a high literacy rate, Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite is concerned over the number of children leaving school who cannot read or leave without a certificate. Noting the problem is nothing new, he says these students are being ignored.
And we have been releasing them into this society for years. For many, many, many years. So every year we publish the number of scholarships and exhibitions. And if we actually publish on the other paper, because we actually would probably need a few more papers to publish the number of students who are leaving for CXCs, etc., you would actually see the extent of the problem that we have.
Mr. Brathwaite says there is a creeping culture where people do not take responsibility for their actions and then run to the media to have their problems resolved.
That's part of what is going wrong in this country. We are not telling people to take responsibility. We have developed, and this is why our measures over the last couple of years have been so unpopular. They've been so unpopular because we have not accepted that there will come a point in time as a country when the country would only be able to take people so far, and that people would have to take responsibility. Our founding father had a vision in terms of the development of Barbados.
We'll have more news in just a moment. Stay with us.
Reliable, anytime, anywhere, instantly, free. That's the benefit of using RBC Royal online internet banking and ATM services. Pay bills, check balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Plus, get a chance to win up to $4,000. Sign up today. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more. Special conditions apply. RBC Royal Bank. It's all about you.
A lot of people think that fast boys are cool, and the girls show like the guys who ride them. But like so many things about life, you gotta be careful. Having sex without a condom is like riding a bike without a helmet. It's just plain dumb. It's okay to have fun as long as you're smart about it. My name is Daniel the Lion Coaches, and I'm different, and I'm making a difference.
Live up, love, protect, respect.
Barbados' very own Rihanna has officially surpassed the Beatles on Billboard's Hot 100 for the second longest cumulative weeks at #1. Work, featuring Drake, continues to be the #1 song in the U.S., having scored its 9th week in that position, which gives her a total of 60 weeks spent at #1 in her career. She tied the Beatles last week with 59 weeks at #1, but has now set a new record at 60 weeks. The leader, for now, remains Mariah Carey with 79 weeks. Rihanna's work also gives her the second longest #1 streak, just behind We Found Love at 10 weeks. Congratulations, Rihanna. A presentation of a dozen desks signals the first step towards more refurbishment at Harrison College. This disclosure from Minister of Education Ronald Jones, who was speaking to the school's student body during a presentation of desks to the school's first form. Minister Jones says more money has been added to the school's budget to renovate some of the classrooms. He notes there is also a bigger project coming to the institution.
A wider project is coming to Harrison College to bring all of these buildings, as we would say, up to scratch, but beyond scratch. A wider project is now being looked at to take care of many of the things that I know have been reported, and I've walked the plant with the principal and the deputy principal and members of our project unit at the ministry. So we are fully aware of the needs that you have here.
The first form students have been provided with locally produced wooden desks, which have more storage space. This will ease the burden of students, especially those that use public transport. 160 desks were donated to the school by the Aaron and Christina Trutt Foundation and multimillionaire philanthropist Andy Stewart.
So today, though, with the help of everyone on the stage, we're presenting 160 of these new desks that have been made modeled on the old wooden desks that Mrs. Steinbach and I used when we were here.
What we've actually got in front of us, and there's another 159 to come as well, is all down to the diligence of the people that I love in your country that you kindly allow me to stay in occasionally.
The Aaron and Christina Foundation has also disclosed that more upgrades are in the offing at the school, including the installation of Wi-Fi hotspots. There's a call for alternative forms of punishment for drug users. It has come from Barbados' Director of Public Prosecutions, Charles Leacock, who contends not enough is being done to treat the user. He's arguing that punishment cannot always be the option for victims. His comments came during the opening of the 4th Multilateral Maritime Interdiction and Prosecution Summit hosted by the Barbados Defense Force. It's in collaboration with the Office of Maritime Law Enforcement Interdiction Division of the United States Coast Guard.
That is one of the reasons why we're having this shifting theoretical approach towards the basis upon which this fight should continue. But not only so, in 2012, a number of countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Russia, they called for a more balanced approach to it, whereby a third approach should be taken, and the drug fight should continue assiduously against the traffickers, but also there should be more funding available for the treatment of it as addiction, those who are mere users.
Mr. Leacock also wants Barbados to seriously examine the effects the legalization of cannabis can have on society.
That's all well and good because it would seem to be well within the law. But what would be the effects of that? Would the sale of this sort of branded marijuana, or where it arises, or branded drugs, but so far it's only cannabis that has been decriminalized in some parts, is how will this impact on other areas of the society? Will it lead to the destabilization of communities where you have certain people involved in that sort of trade becoming very wealthy at the expense of others? How will this affect the stability of communities? Will this lead to another parallel inflated false economy?
As Barbados approaches its 50th anniversary as an independent nation, a government minister wants greater attention placed on becoming a republic. While Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development, Donville Ennis, respects those who oppose the idea, he sees the attainment of Republican status as the next step from political independence.
To the point where this country is really in charge of its situation, as opposed to Queen Elizabeth II or her heirs who are located in Buckingham Palace. 50 years after we gained independence, I think that we owe it to the next generation to truly move towards Barbados really being an independent state, having a head of state who's from among us, one of us, and all of the symbols and things that go with it. Now, when we talk about these things, people behave. The first thing is say, well, how much is it going to cost?
Mr. Ennis suggests both political parties support the move toward Republican status. The males will outnumber the females during this year's Common Entrance examination. 3,525 will take the exam at 22 secondary schools. This figure comprises 1,784 males and 1,741 females. 13 students are writing the exam early at age 10, and 148 non-nationals have also satisfied immigration requirements to take the exam. Scores of Barbadian men received the prostate-specific antigen or PSA test over the weekend. The opportunity was provided by Cancer Support Services in its latest testing drive. President Kathy Ann Kelly Springer says the response shows that men are understanding the need to get their prostate tested, and they're doing it at an earlier age as well.
Earlier this year, we had over 100 men who came out to be tested. Today, the numbers are looking around that line as well. And based on the information provided today, we realize we have younger men, we have some 30-year-olds, a lot of 40 persons in their 40s here. So I think we are reaching out and the men are responding accordingly.
Ricardo Prescott, who will be 50 this year, says the high prevalence of the condition made him want to know his numbers.
I think they're saying that all men should do it. Because my father, he had swollen prostate, right? but it was never diagnosed as cancer. I have a family member that he had it, but he got it treated. I have a close friend of mine, he had it treated the other day, so he decided to get it treated.
And Dwayne Marshall says he also wanted to know about his status.
I'm young, yes, I'm young. But age doesn't really define, I guess, a sickness or anything of the sort. So it would be best, I guess, if anybody, especially males, I guess in this time, could have it then, once the opportunity is there.
A local credit union has started a program that could give secondary school students management experience, particularly as it relates to money. It's the Secondary Schools Credit Unions program launched by the City of Bridgetown Credit Union. The idea is to set up credit unions managed by students at each of the 7 schools already involved. COB President Henderson Williams says among the many benefits for participating students is an understanding of how to manage money and an organization.
We're going to be taking within that environment learning of these new concepts that are fundamental to the new world, the new order of things. It is now important that from an early age, students understand how to manage their finances, how to work with other persons in achieving their goals, and that's some of the things that we are going to be doing. The credit union in the schools are going to have a democratic structure, which is paramount to what we do at COB and other credit unions. The membership is going to be open and voluntary, which means everybody within the school will have an opportunity to participate.
Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Harcourt Husbands, shared his view of an even broader vision for the initiative. He believes that COB can partner with the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Council to create a related Caribbean vocational qualification.
So that children could leave school, those people who participate in the credit union at their school, who are on the board, who are the president, the treasurer, they can leave school with a tangible qualification that they can take to a prospective employer, not only a credit union, saying that they have this and an employer throughout the region, not just in Barbados, that they have a Caribbean vocational.
Yet another group of students has gained artistic skills in the area of culinary arts. Students of the Barbados Community College's Hospitality Institute displayed their culinary work at their final showcase in the Food Art Presentation course. During the period of training, the hospitality students were exposed to fruit and vegetable carving, as well as butter and chocolate sculpting. One student, Davian Levine, says the 15-week course was not the easiest, but he has found a love for it. Then another student, Kamari Calendar, explained what she loved about the course. Teacher of the program, Ezra Beckles, says he enjoyed working with the students. Well, she is 100 years old and still loves to sing. This is how Geddes Howell described his mother, Barbados's latest centenarian, Armenta Tull. Mr. Howell, the only child of Miss Tull, says his mother has always had a passion for singing.
When I was like that, she used to be singing for service of songs, and she used to be carrying me along up the place, Hopewell in St. Thomas. She used to go there to practice, and she was singing alto from the time I know her.
When asked to speak to the CBC team, the centenarian, as you guessed it, preferred to sing.
The servants one remain, echoes from the burning bush on fire. Oh,
she echoes from
the burning bush.
Oh,
that thrill
my soul.
Oh, to thrill my soul.
Well, Mr. Howell, who spent a number of years living in England, says he lost his father at a young age and his mother shouldered the role of both mother and father.
And even when I came back here, she would provide, and I had to be careful what I said, because the minute I said, I will fancy this or I will fancy that, she's going to get it. So I used to have to be careful what I said. But she looked after me. She still wanted to do it now, but that's how a mother Yeah, and then the only child, so I don't think she or we don't think we had much choice.
We wish you a happy birthday, sweet singing Miss Tell. Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. Stay with us.